Hello, my name is Erdem Topsakal. I'm the editor-in-chief of IEEE Antennas and Propagation Society. Welcome to the President's Corner. Today, we are here with Professor Stefano Maci, and he is the current president of the IEEE Antennas and Propagation Society. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, my first question is about your membership with the society, going back, being a student member and then senior member, eventually fellow. And how did you get involved with IEEE APS activities and ATCOM, and eventually becoming a president?
Thank you, Erdem. I think that the first conference I did was in Chicago '92. Actually, my advisor, Professor Tiberio, was a great professor. But was used to go in all these conferences of IEEE. I didn't know when I was student what IEEE was. But IEEE sounds a strange name. And next, I realized that IEEE means IEEE, and then that was a discovery, first discovery. And when I go for the first time in a conference was '92, I got a contact and I met first time big names like Pier Giorgio Slenghi, like Raj Mitra, Leo Felsen, Peter Uffinsev, Yaya Ramazzani. I mean, all names that I was reading in the papers, and eventually I saw it directly. Konstantin Malanis, the living book. I saw him in Chicago. There were everybody, and I mean, it was a bit strange. There was another guy there. There was a famous scientist, well known by everybody, Professor Felsen. And eventually, a year later, I worked with him in several issues, several interesting scientific topics. The if I remember well, I became a senior member in '97, and afterwards I started to continue to follow all the antennas and propagation symposia. Actually, I think I missed only one from '92 to today. I missed only one conference. I follow everything, even looking at the transaction. I was involved in the transaction. I was involved as associate editor afterwards, and I mean, in the various activity, I became member of ATCOM, voting member of ATCOM I think in 2012, something like that, 2011, and from 2011 to 2014, I went into the ATCOM, and next I became distinguished lecturer. And distinguished lecturer program, distinguished lecturer program is extremely important because it allows you to go around the chapters to tell about your research activities, make a sort of plenary talks with all people interested. Is a very nice thing, is a good invention. And a lot of other societies are copying this invention. And afterwards I became, I actually, before became member of ADCOM, I became fellow in 2004. And the citation for the fellowship was something related to the activity I did with Professor Felsen. It was truncated array problems. When you have a big array, people study it, just imagine that the array is infinite with a phasing and get a scan. And actually, when array is finite, you get a truncation at the edge. You can have extra effects that are not predictable by the infinite array approximation, and get sometimes some effect, unusual effect, also strange effect like scan blindness. So I studied the scan blindness effect that are much more complicated when the array is over the ground slab. And for these reasons, I became fellow. And it was my satisfaction and my extreme honor to the fact that Leo Felsen refused to do any type of endorsement for a fellowship except for me, make an exception for me. And I was nominated by Leo Felsen. Great honor.
Now you're the president, so every president has their initiatives.
Mm.
So, what kinds of initiatives have you already started, and what is coming ahead? Because we are about 7 months into your presidency. Can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about the ones that you have already initiated and what is coming up?
Yes, thank you, Erdem. It's very difficult to do something impactful in 1 year, let me say. You have 1 year of preparation. During my preparation, I was strictly in contact with my predecessors. Professor Lazzi was a great friend, was very useful for me because he was a bit more inside the society than I was. And I learned a lot in this year, but I was not deeply inside on various mechanisms. When you become president, you start to understand very well which are your responsibilities and what you could do for improving the very thing that you don't understand is, or you understand is not working well, or not working well. One of the things that initiative that we did in cooperation with the MTT Society, Micro Theory and Technology Society, is the lowering the student fee to $1 for the two societies. You know, actually, we have a sort of background payment, which is the association to IEEE, which is actually low for students. Is about, I don't remember exactly, like $19 or something like that. And next, on top of it, the society put an amount of money that now for student members is very low, is $1. And this allows to people that are in underdeveloped countries the possibility to pay the registration fee. Even sometimes $20 for people that stay in Africa are a lot. So the reduction from 20 to $1 is important. And this initiative started at the beginning of the year, but is active, I think, in end of June. People can register for $1. The other things I think I have some points in mind always to follow. One is the contact at the cooperation with the other societies, both inside IEEE and outside IEEE. I signed a lot of memorandum of understanding recently, renewing the one with MTT, with EMC, and with Geoscience. We started to cooperate. We started with a distinguished lecture program, which is a common with MTT, and probably Geoscience will join us. And this was very successful because we had a lot of applicants for few positions. And now we increased the number of positions. The reason of making this is that we have a lot of membership, a lot of members that are together with MTT, so they are both member of MTT and AP, and common chapters. There are chapters that are in AP and MTT, and the distinguished lecturer can go normally in a chapter that is shared by other societies. This one is something that was not present before. Now is operative, is a process which is operative, and these are the second one. And I believe that there are other initiatives that I would like to do before the end, and so improving some mechanisms concerning with the award delivery and the process of delivering grants and fellowship for the student. Unified some actions in order to put the committee together and working better, because sometimes they they have a little bit of superposition of activities, and making more intersection and interaction in between the committees could be useful, and will save time to the volunteers, will save we improve the impact, especially concerning with the award and the fellowship, and other things. These are There are other things that I have in mind concerning with the inclusions of underrepresented group, the global vision of the membership. One of the other things that is extremely important is the common, I mean, IEEE is a sponsor of several conferences around, and having conferences together with our society, in my opinion, is important. We have two of them that was born very recently, one in Egypt, the other one in India. Other society means mainly MTT, not exclusively, but mainly. And we have devices and understand very well the fact that if you put the community of MTT and AP together, create conferences that are larger than the summation of the two individually. And these are something that create an increase of benefits, especially toward the young students.
Great initiatives indeed. My last question is about your advice to young students out there, getting into the field of antennas and propagations. What advice would you give to students, professionals, or even new starting faculty members who are interested in APS activities?
Let me say, the AP is an academic society, but there is an impact of the industry. There are several industrial participation, and in fact, one of the things that I forget to say is I'm trying to put the industry more involved into our games.
We have young professionals.
And the young professional is one of the initiatives that is very, very important and successful. So why one young guy should go in a society, in AP? The reason is simple. You know people that otherwise you cannot know. You cannot meet. And it's a networking. It's extremely important. And you can catch new ideas, you can make new friends, and you have an environment which is extremely good, especially for academia. I cannot imagine a professor that is stay in his room and working on his small piece of paper or in the computer. Does not exist. It's not, even if now the let's say wireless electronic communication is increasing so much, I believe that still the contact, human contact, the friendship with other people is the basic to make science. You cannot do as well. There are very clear examples of people that go into the society, through the society, get links with industry or with other university, move in other university, grow up in other university. We cannot stay in our home.
Great points. Well, thank you so much. That concludes our interview, and wish you the best, for the rest of your presidency. And of course, we know that next year you're going to be the past president, so you're not off the hook. So you'll be there for another year, and then continue to serve, and for many years to come. Well, that wraps up our interview with Professor Maci, and we have heard great things from him, starting with the $1 for students membership. Reducing the membership fee, and another things about distinguished lecturer program, and many other things coming up your way. So please, stay watching. And if you're not following us on LinkedIn, please follow us on APS LinkedIn, Society LinkedIn page, and check out the website. Until next time, be happy, be healthy.